Many years ago, in a poor village, there lived a peasant with his son. His only material possession, apart from some land and a small straw hut, was a horse that he had inherited from his father. One day the horse ran off, leaving the man with no animal with which to till the land. His neighbors came to his house to say how much they regretted what had happened. He thanked them for their visit and simply said, "I only know that the horse is not in the stable. Is this a good thing or a bad thing? Who's to say?" Someone mumbled to a friend, "Poor fellow, can't accept reality. Let him think what he wants, as long as he isn't suffering from his misfortune." And the neighbors went off, pretending to agree with what they had heard. A week later, the horse returned to the stable, but it was not alone. It had brought with it a fine mare for company. Upon hearing this, the villagers returned to the peasant's house to congratulate him on his good fortune. "Before you only had one horse, now you have two. Congratulations," they said. "Many thanks for your visit and for all your good wishes," answered the peasant. "I only know that the horse is back, and he has brought another with him. Is this a good thing or a bad thing? Who's to say?" The neighbors went back to their homes, thinking he must be going mad. Does he really not understand that God has sent him a gift? A month later, the peasant's son, his only child, decided to tame the mare. But the animal unexpectedly reared up, and the boy fell, and he broke his leg. The neighbors returned to the peasant's house, bringing gifts for the wounded boy, and offering condolences to the father, saying they were all very sad at what had happened. The man thanked them for their visit and their concern and said, "I only know that my son's leg is broken. Is this a good thing or a bad thing? Who's to say?" What a fool, the neighbors thought. No one could be in any doubt that the accident of his son was a real tragedy. The man, being too old to do much on the farm, no longer had his son available to work the land. With no one tending the farm, he might starve. And still he is in doubt whether what happened is a misfortune. Not long after this, a war broke out in the old man's country. The emperor's envoys traveled throughout the land in search of healthy young men to be sent to battle. They recruited all the young men in the village, except for the peasant's son, whose leg was broken. "Your son's accident is a blessing," they said. "Well, it's true his legs are broken. You will have many more years with him. We may never see our sons again. You are blessed and we are cursed." The old man smiled and shook his head. "I only know that my son is here with me, and yours are off to war. No one is wise enough to know if it is a blessing or a curse." At our retreat, we're doing an exercise to experience this concept in your own life. Tell your lifeline backwards. Start with the 3 best things in your life, stating them as if they were inevitable. For example, "I was born to be a coach," or "it was my destiny to be a great father." Choose just one of those things, one of those things that you value most about yourself right now, and then go backwards. What was the thing that immediately led to that thing? What was the event that immediately led to that previous thing? State each episode as if it were inevitable. Keep going until you hit your origin story. Reinterpret your painful memories. For example, I might end with, "And so it was important for me to be raised in an emotionally and physically unsafe home, beat up by my brother every day, where I learned to stay on the periphery, observing the world around me, learning the skills that I needed to be a great coach." It can be helpful to start by just writing the headlines. Then, after the timeline is complete, go back and write narrative paragraphs for each. Don't worry if events overlap or are slightly out of order. Just write them down in the order that best fits the story. Add some connecting phrases, such as, "This never would have happened if," or perhaps, "and the gift of that was." When you're done, what connections do you notice that you previously may not have owned or appreciated? Please be willing to go deep. Share the vulnerable parts of your story. That's the key to strengthening connections with your forum mates and to healing from your own story.